Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to White Lines F1, and today we're doing the race analysis of the Bahrain GP. And I know I didn't do the qualifying analysis like I always do or have done previously, but unfortunately last night I literally just got home late from work because I was there for about 10 hours, so I didn't have time to record that. But here you can see one of these sides, probably here, yes here, you can see the results from qualifying. So Bottas came first, that was the main thing. And you see Hamilton second, Vettel third, and so on. And that was huge for Bottas. First time getting pole, he's the fifth Finn, I think, ever to get a pole position in qualifying. So it was big for him, and it was important for him because so far he's clearly been the number 2 driver. He has been to Mercedes what Raikkonen has been to Ferrari. So the fact that he got this pole really showed that he's still got the talent, and that he's going to hopefully have a good Bahrain GP and maybe even win the race. However, as you can see from now the race results, which are now here, yep, it will be on this side, just worked out, you can see that unfortunately he didn't actually win the race, he came third. So let's talk about the race. So see here you can see the results of the race. Of course, Sebastian Vettel won the race, Hamilton second, and so on. Let's talk about the retirees before we kick off the actual analysis of the race. So Van Dorn was the first to come out, breakdown rather. He retired before the race started. He had an MGUH problem, the engine effectively, and that was something that was plaguing McLaren throughout the race, throughout the entire weekend. They knew that engine was really struggling in the heat, and so he broke down. I think Alonso also broke down previously during practice or qualifying. Anyways, so they knew their engine was weak, and then on the formation lap, Van Dorn's went straight away. So you can imagine how annoyed he was. Verstappen was the next to go out. He actually had a brake failure. He had his pits. He was actually doing pretty well, and he was actually looking to overtake Hamilton because Hamilton didn't have a great start. We'll talk about that later. He went out on brake failure, goes into the pits, goes onto super softs, comes out, and when he hits the brakes on the first corner, it just goes straight on into the gravel and then into the wall. And it was so painful looking at him as he got out of the car. He just kicks the wall. You can see how angry he was. Real shame for him. He was going to have a good race. Lance Stroll and Sainz were the next to go out. They actually went crashed out together. Carlos Sainz crashed into Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll was taking the corner. Sainz had just come out of the pits and he was trying to outbrake him. And Sainz tried to blame Stroll, saying he turned in on him, but actually Stroll had the track position, had the racing line, and Sainz should have yielded and let him go, and he just tried to dive bomb him, completely murdered the side of that Williams car. It looked like it took a bombshell to it. So yeah, it was definitely Sainz's fault, and we'll probably expect a penalty somewhere, but I didn't see much of an investigation whilst I was watching. Ericsson went out on brake failure, and then finally Alonso went out. He had the same issue as Van Dorn, pretty much. He had an engine issue. And I want to quickly talk about the McLaren because obviously engines and so on, you know, they hate talking about it, but that Honda is pretty crap. There was, I can't remember who it was who said, but in the speed traps, the fastest speed they clocked was 205 miles an hour, and by contrast, that was the fastest time. The slowest time in the speed traps was the McLaren of only 195, which is still pretty fast. That's 10 miles an hour slower than the fastest speed. So that just says how much slower that Honda power unit is, because 10 miles an hour is pretty substantial, to say the absolute least. So yeah, that's really adds some salt into the wounds. Anyways, I suppose we can talk about the race now. So I'm literally going to go through my notes as it went ahead. So first of all, Bottas had a really good start. Vettel also had a really good start, and Hamilton didn't. He didn't have a bad start as such, but he basically just got the wheel spin. And actually, I want to say that obviously there's no proof to this one, but my brother asked me before the race started, who do you reckon is going to win? I said either Bottas or Vettel. I did not believe that Hamilton would win that race from second place, because I thought he probably will struggle keeping up with Bottas because the Mercedes isn't very good at following cars, and Vettel's going to find it easy overtaking both of them. And I don't think Bottas ever got overtaken in race situation, but he did fall back 2 places. Hamilton also started on the right side of the track on the grid, and I discovered just as the race was starting that was actually apparently the worst place to start because of the dirt, because of the dirty track on that side. He was always a little bit screwed, and that really showed when he had all that wheel spin. He didn't have a bad getaway, but then the wheels just couldn't get the grip, and Vettel was able to just about creep ahead and then take the outside line. So yeah, Hamilton was kind of sharpened from the start. Hamilton, when he was down in third, I was watching and he was consistently about 7 to 9 tenths behind Vettel and Bottas. Vettel was staying really close to Bottas. Hamilton just didn't have it in him, or didn't have the speed or the car maybe even, simply to get closer than about 7 tenths. He was really struggling, or maybe some could say he was managing, but I honestly don't think he had it in him to close that gap. Vettel then on 11 laps in went on to the super softs. He immediately committed on the 11th lap to the two-stop strategy, which was very, very aggressive, but in the end it paid out for him. It was lap 12 that Verstappen went in for the pit, because he was actually at this stage feeling faster than Hamilton. Hamilton in third, Verstappen in fourth. Verstappen looked like he was actually going to overtake Hamilton, and then goes in for his super softs because he said, look, Vettel's just gone in, they're clearly going for that strategy, we need to do it too. He goes to do it too, and then he got shafted as he comes out, so it felt really bad for him. He actually had a definite opportunity to get into the podium positions. When Stroll and Sainz went and had their collision, that prompted the safety car, which we thought we were going to have a little bit earlier because of Verstappen, but because he went so far off the track it just didn't matter. But then that crashed because of where Stroll's car ended up. They had to get a safety car out, and that at first seemed like it was going to play the cards into the Mercedes hands, but it actually didn't. Vettel got out ahead of, obviously he'd already pitted, so he stayed out ahead of Bottas, and then Hamilton screwed up his race right here. What happened was the Mercedes decided to double stack, logical thing to do, but then Ricciardo, when he went in to go to the pits as well, Hamilton backed up Ricciardo going into the pit, which you can't do because he knew he had to get the double stop. He wanted to get his done swiftly. He really didn't need to do it in the slightest. It made no influence. It literally changed nothing. But you can't do that, so he got a 5-second time penalty as a result of that, which he decided to take in the pits. And for me, that was the defining moment in the race for Hamilton's race. Effectively, I think even though he did finish the race more than 5 seconds behind, I think if he didn't get that penalty there, he would have been able to overtake Vettel, but hey, that's something we'll talk about a little bit later. My next note is actually about Alonso, and this is really funny. So he'd just been overtaken, I can't remember who, but I think it was by one of the Renaults, and the Renault was so far behind him at the start of the straight that the fact he got overtaken from such a distance ahead prompted him to say a bit of a quote, and then he went on to say, "I've never raced with less power in my life," and I literally laughed out loud. It's such a funny moment. And then later we found out about that 10-mile-an-hour speed difference, and he is so desperate to just get out of the McLaren and get into that IndyCar for certain. In fact, so actually, better talk about that one. He's going off to do IndyCar. He wants to win the Triple Crown, which is winning the F1 Championship, winning an IndyCar, and winning in Le Mans. So since McLaren have got an IndyCar, he's going to go race for them there, and it's probably just a bit of a sweetener for him, just to keep him happy. He seemed really happy throughout the race weekend until the race came along. Then he was obviously business as usual, pretty pissed off. But yeah, so yeah, he was not a happy bunny, and he ended up breaking down because of that engine. So yeah, it's quite comical to say the least. After all the pits, Bottas simply just didn't have the pace that he had earlier. So you would have thought that Bottas on his side would have, well, even though Sebastian had the super softs which were quicker, Bottas should have been able to keep some pace up to Vettel, but he literally just couldn't. I'm dying. Bottas just couldn't do it, and Hamilton at this stage had done his pit, and Mercedes decided that if they want any chance of winning this race, they have to release Hamilton and try and catch up to Vettel. So eventually, Bottas, for the second time in the race, by the way, was told to get out of the way. Well, not out of the way. They actually said, "Please, look at that." They asked him to get out of the way so that Hamilton could go ahead and catch him and, do a bit of a charge. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough in the end. I do feel sympathy for Bottas because he had a fantastic qualifying. If Hamilton didn't screw up his qualifying with that one mistake, he probably would have come first. But Bottas was the one who had the clean lap and he had the fastest lap in the end. So I did think he was going to win this race, or he definitely had the opportunity. And then the way the safety car and all the strategy calls, and the fact that he just couldn't light up the tyres, the soft tyres, it just didn't really work in his favour. So I do feel bad for him, but we saw that he does have the pace in qualifying. So if he can translate that into race pace, then he should be okay, and he'll definitely get a win or two throughout the season. So I do feel bad for him, but it just wasn't his race. But Bottas did, when he did pit actually on lap 31, which was before Vettel, who lapped a couple laps later. Bottas did come out in clear air, so I was thinking at this stage maybe he'll get ahead of the Ferrari, but when Vettel did his pits, he managed to just about get ahead of Ricciardo, which was the most important person to get ahead of, because if he got behind Ricciardo would have certainly slowed him down and allowed Bottas to get into the race and have the opportunity to get past the Ferrari. But Vettel got ahead of both Bottas and Ricciardo in that pit, or stayed ahead rather. So that kind of ruined it for Bottas. And at that stage, that was when Hamilton was later, when he did his pits, he was then later told, right, okay, you can now go past Bottas for a second time, try and catch up to Vettel. So yeah, that was it just did not work out for Bottas. Hamilton losing this race was partially down to the fact that he got that penalty, also because just the strategy was never going to work for him, because he was trying to do the one stop, and he was trying to do the one stop strategy with 44 laps on the softs, and Pirelli said that the softs could only do 40 laps. And so that at that stage, even though Hamilton, when he was actually in first place at one stage, he did, because he was on the softs, Mercedes knew that he just couldn't keep it up, because even if he did manage to get to the end, because he didn't have another pit to make, he would have kept that 5-second penalty, and because of how much the tyres would have dropped off, Vettel maybe could have overtaken him, which then would have probably pushed Hamilton a couple places back, maybe into third or even fourth, or it just simply would never have worked out, and he just probably would have actually maybe even gone even further down, because if he did have to pit, or if he did have to pit really late after at first thinking he's going to make it to the end, and then at the last minute realising he can't, he probably would have lost like 6-7 places. So when they did do the pit, they took the 5-second penalty, and he actually shook his head in the pits, and you could see how frustrated he was. And you know, it was self-inflicted, but that's racing, unfortunately. When Hamilton did come out of the pits and he went back onto the softs, first of all, Hamilton thought he was going onto the super softs, but data on the Mercedes end said actually no, it was the softs that was the faster tyre, because when Bottas was on the super soft, it just wasn't working out for him. So they were like, no, softs are the faster tyre. When he came out, I think he was 10 seconds behind. Yeah, so when Hamilton came out of the pits to go into third, Vettel was first, Bottas was 9.5 seconds behind Vettel, and then Hamilton was 10 seconds behind Bottas. And it was crucial for Bottas to try and close the gap on Vettel, and then Hamilton on Bottas. And Bottas just did not have the pace at all. Hamilton closed that gap, that 10-second gap, so quickly, it was unbelievable. And then at this stage, when he did get past Bottas, he had like 13 seconds to make on Vettel. And though he did close the gap down to 6 seconds by the end, it just wasn't enough, of course. He ran out of time, and if he had probably about five more laps, he would have probably been okay, and maybe, you know, we would have had a race at the end. We just didn't have it. In fact, he ended up deciding just to simply back off on the final lap, gave away the win. Didn't give away the win, he already did that, but he gave the win to Vettel, who of course was buzzing, and that was pretty much all we had to speak about in that race. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It was a thrilling race. And I think my favourite thing about this race was that there was overtaking everywhere. It was at the front, and it was in the middle, it was even at the back. I felt really bad for Alonso, because I was actually, of all people who I was cheering along, I was cheering Alonso the most, because he was really struggling with that car. He was driving the nuts off it, and he was still finding overtakes, he was still getting past people and really pushing that engine. And it's just so great to see him. He actually says he wants a title-winning car for next season. He wants to get, you know, on the front cars. I just don't think a seat is available for him. But I genuinely believe that if he was in a race-winning car, he'd win the championship again. He's that quick in a car that's so slow. So, and it was just such great racing throughout. The Force India was getting involved. Saubers, the Renaults, they were actually, I don't know, they didn't do too bad. Williams of Massa, he was having a stellar race, and he was actually really irritating Raikkonen. Raikkonen and Massa probably was one of the best races of the weekend, of the day. Constantly going back and forth, and in the pits, the strategy changed everything. And yeah, it was a really wonderful race to watch. And I'm sorry if this analysis isn't that detailed. It's simply I've got to get this up really quickly. I also have to apologise for the fact I didn't have the quali. I didn't discuss quali. Again, I ran out of time for it's not really too much to talk about, to be honest. And I'm sorry also that my race analysis of China was out late. I uploaded it, it came out, and then I had to take it down and re-upload it and do a little bit of changes to it. and that's why it came out so late. So it's been a bit of a hectic and a bit of a painful couple of weeks, past 2 weeks for me. But there we go, that is my analysis. I hope you guys have enjoyed nonetheless. I'm sorry it isn't as detailed as but yeah, that's my race analysis. I'm sorry it is a little bit rushed, it's probably not as detailed as usual, but it was a wonderful race nonetheless. If you have enjoyed this, please like this video, subscribe, share this video, comment some suggestions, any ideas for the channel. I have still got my podcast idea, which I do need to upload. I'll probably try and record it maybe tomorrow, but don't put your chickens on that one. But I'll try my best to get that out before my next qualifying analysis, which I will do for the next race. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out White Lines Football. We're having a blast over there. Lewis is definitely doing very well on that channel. It's really picking up steam. It's really picking up the pace, and yeah, we're having a wonderful time at the moment. So yeah, thank you again, and I'll see you guys on the next one.